got all these things recorded. The cops lying to a mentally disabled man who is obviously already distraught. He doesn't really comprehend his environment all that well. Even with me trying to explain the gravity of the situation, he didn't quite seem to understand it. The cops were aware of this. They are already aware of this. Now that lady that I just spoke with, I don't think I'm going to be going back to the Chevron station. There's one lady there who's pretty chill, but the lady who's there this morning, she's short and squat. She got some grayish brown hair and missing a tooth on the side. She just made nothing but excuses. Oh, well, Dean's crazy. I didn't get to finish anything I was saying. Oh, Dean's crazy. Dean's crazy. Well, a few people have talked to me about Dean. More than a few. They say, oh, well, he just doesn't want help. No, they offered him help after they had already decided that they were going to steal all of his shit. They know he doesn't have any support here. She says, oh, you know Dean's from Hood River. He was from here, right? You know, he's from here. Well, according to him, he's from Alaska. So we'll look into that, right? No, you guys don't give a shit. Dean isn't a person. He's crazy. All the things that I told this lady happened up there, they're all true, but she just wanted to make excuse after excuse. I didn't get to tell her what happened. Meanwhile, it is recorded. It is on video. She says, oh, he's got family here. He's living up there. Oh, well, you know, if they towed him, he had to do something wrong. He had to do something wrong or they wouldn't have towed him. He's been up there for forever. He's up there because his family doesn't want him. Well, you just said they was trying to help him, and now what are you saying? Well, now she's telling me, oh, well, you know, they tried to help him and he didn't want it. You know, that was the first one. And then she said, oh, well, they won't do everything he says. Or Dean won't do everything they say. Well, how can he do everything they say? He needs help with this stuff. You know, I said, you know what? Almost a dozen people have spoken to me about Dean, and none of them have ever seen him get violent with anybody. I mean, they've heard him scream and shout, but none of them have seen him get violent. That's one of the things with the police touching you. They do that to somebody, especially when they think they're mentally ill, especially if it's a homeless person. The reason for that is because if they get a trauma response, they can slam you to the ground and arrest you, lock you up, claim that you tried to assault them, drop you off on a mental health fucking bullshit, and then you go through it all over again. And the community makes every excuse why, oh, you must deserve it because you're crazy. I tried explaining to that lady that, well, the cops are even more not liking me ever since Natalie Bollinger was killed. So then she starts thinking in her head, I must be, well, different like Dean. I must be, obviously. My hair's messed up. I got a beard. I'm unkept. I live in a shitty fucking vehicle that smells like rotten fish. I ate a bit of it. You know, when I had teeth, that stuff was delicious. But without teeth, it's hard to chew. There's a difference between smoked salmon and dried salmon, and that's dried salmon. It's a little bit different. They smoke it and then they dry it. Whereas smoked salmon, it's just smoked. They don't dry it out afterwards. And they can't dry it out beforehand, because if they dry it beforehand, it'll turn into charcoal. Situation with Dean no matter what the situation with his family, he doesn't have that family support. And he doesn't have a social worker. That right there is the most on point thing about any of this. No guardian, no social worker to actually make sure that he is taken care of. They just want to drop him off and let people run around saying whatever they want. And now, when I was explaining to this lady, nobody had ever seen Dean get violent as far as any of the people that I had spoken with. You know, she started talking about vandalism. Yep, I can see that. I can see him breaking things. Absolutely, he doesn't want to hurt anybody. He wants help. Matter of fact, he needs help. So she tried telling me, oh, well, he was over there shaking his willy over there at Starbucks in the drive thru. And I thought to myself, well, he's been over to the drive thru or been over to the Starbucks at least a dozen times since I've been here, if not more. Nobody at Starbucks ever said anything to me about anybody shaking their willy out in their whatchamawhat's through their drive-through. They never said anything to him in front of me. They never asked him to leave. He went in. He was a customer. He bought stuff. Went in there with his guitar. All of his guitars. He had 3 guitars and a banjo, and they're all gone. Everything that he had was in there. His blankets, everything. Didn't even have a backpack. Any records he might have had, anything that might be able to help him get out of that situation was probably in there. And he probably, for the most part, doesn't have the ability to comprehend or work on the things that he needs to. He doesn't have the mental capacity for it. Now, some people, it is a mental issue and a chemical issue, and for some people it's an abuse issue, and for some people it's both. This lady claimed that when he's on his meds, he's a productive member of society and all that. He can't be. Even when he's on meds, that's not going to make him a productive member of society. That's not going to make him so that he can do all of these things all of the time and not have problems. Especially with people's assumptions. Oh, he's crazy, so that makes it okay, right? That's why the police say the things they do, why they pull it off the way that they do, why they lie to the American public, and why all this money is spent to victimize the most victimized people in America. They spend between, $5,000 and $12,000 today? Meanwhile, it's definitely going to get hot. For them to tow his vehicle the way that they did. I even tried to explain to her about how they put all the rocks there, and they were just waiting for their opportunity to yank him out of there. He doesn't have anywhere else to put that, and they knew it. They offered to fix it, knowing that they had no intention of doing so. They had already decided that they were going to tow it to the Dalles. There's no way for him to go to the Dalles and get it. And then at the very end of it, like I fucking told you, oh yeah, they put everything on him. He's not capable of doing these things for himself, and they put it all on him. Oh, well, he doesn't want it. No, he said he wanted it fixed. He said he's fine with his vehicle being taken to somewhere else. But where is that somewhere else? Are they impounding his vehicle? Or are they going to take it to somewhere where he is safe, where he's safe from victimization from you people, from your assumptions, from the excuses that you make why it must be okay? And I explained to that lady, well, you know what? The cops get to use that against all homeless people. Like, all of us are that way. And she said, oh, we've had our problems with people coming through. Yeah, and we've had our problems with you. We've absolutely had our problems with people like that, haven't we? The short, fat old ladies who will make any excuse why it's okay. You know, if he's whipping out his willy in public and exposing it like that, well, why is it that he's not somewhere? People who go exposing themselves like that, they usually get somewhere rather quickly. It's usually a sex offender unit. Why didn't they do that to this man? It's the only violent thing she could come up with, though. I mean, and I don't see that as violent. I see that as being a severe mental issue. I honestly, you know how I look at child molesters? I look at them as being sick in the head, severely sick in the head. If you're going to allow them to live, they do need to be monitored, and they need to be monitored 24 hours a day for the rest of their lives. That sickness isn't something that you can cure with medications either. Alright, my phone just froze up. I don't know if it's still working on your end, but I am looking at a picture of my face frozen. Maybe if we move this. Doesn't appear to be working. We'll see if pulling this down works. Oh, Ghislaine Maxwell sentenced to 20 years in prison for help. Huh. Well, that's right along our alley, isn't it? Isn't that right along what we've been talking about and fighting against? Yeah, prison is a good place for them. We'll get into this a little bit more because I want to make sure this thing even works. It's still frozen.